Hey everybody, it's Dana. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be making a card using the Count the Stars stamp set from My Favorite Things. I'm actually doing a voiceover on this card. I had actually made the card a while ago, but in the midst of my move, I totally forgot to do the voiceover. So if you hear any background noise and it sounds kind of crazy, it's actually because I'm in a hotel trying to finish up the video. I'm going to be using some distress inks today. I'm going to use Stormy Sky, Chipped Sapphire, and Black Soot. I'm also using some Ranger watercolor paper, and I'm actually going to use the rough side of the paper. I'm going to grab my adhesive and just put a little bit down on the back, and this is going to actually keep my paper in place so it doesn't slide all over my craft mat. Alright, so I'm going to make kind of like a stormy background, galaxy kind of background. This is my first time attempting it. I've seen it done and I think it's fabulous. So why not give it a try, right? Alright, so I'm going to come in from the corner, and as you can see, I'm getting a lot of swirl marks, but you know what? I'm not going to worry about that right now because it's a stormy background. It shouldn't be perfect. I went ahead and sped up the video because otherwise we will be sitting here all day trying to figure out how I'm going to do this background, and I wanted to make sure I can get it all done and the video not be like 30 minutes. So I'm on hyper speed here, but that is just to make sure I can get this all done. As you can see, I have a lot of swirl marks on my paper. Again, I'm not going to worry about that because I can clean that up or actually hide my imperfections with some of the darker colors. So here I'm going to go in with this chipped sapphire, and that's really going to deepen up that blue color for me. I really actually like how this card came out. I think it looks pretty cool. And I've seen so many people do these stormy backgrounds actually with this My Favorite Things stamp set because it just coordinates and gives you more of that galaxy look. I think it actually comes out really, really pretty. Okay, so I think I have enough of the blue. I'm trying to leave like a highlighted center. Next, I'm going to come in with the black soot, and I'm just really going to use that black color around the edges, and that's to give it a lot of depth into my my background here. So it's really simple to do, as you can tell. And it looks like I'm like on speed or something. I'm going so damn fast in this video. But I wanted to make sure that I finished everything. Like I said, oh God, this has been a whirlwind of a move for us. So I had to really speed things up because my husband's like, okay, come on, we're supposed to be packing and you're recording a video. What are we doing, Dana? So anyway, I'm just going to add a little bit more of the sky color, the stormy sky in the middle, just to try to blend everything together. All right, see, looks pretty cool, right? All right, now I'm going to slow things down and show you how I made the rest of the card. So of course, using this stamp set, I wanted to add some stars. So I'm going to use this stencil here. This is also from My Favorite Things. I don't remember off the top of my head what the stencil name is, but I'll make sure to put a link in it. And I'm not going to use all of the stars. I actually just want kind of a corner piece of the stars on my card. I'm going to use some low-tack tape here. Again, that is just to hold my stencil in place so it's not moving. And remember, I had picked up my paper, so I really want to make sure that the paper kind of stays in place too. Because remember, I had put some adhesive down, but now I've pulled it up to show you what I was doing. And I just want to make sure everything kind of stays in place. All right, now to go ahead and make sure I protect everything, I'm just going to lay down some paper in the open areas so I make sure I don't get any of my embossing paste. So this is a pearlescent embossing paste, which I really, really love. I like because it gives me, again, like that starry sky, and it's so cool because it has all colors of blues and purples, and you know how an iridescent color is, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. This is probably the second time I've used this embossing paste, and I don't know why, because it actually is one of my favorites because of the color definition it has in there. So I'm just going to smooth that over just a little bit because I still want to get some of those larger stars. So hopefully I won't mess this up. I'm going to kind of be gentle here across the tape because I don't want to actually get this smeared anywhere else but on those corner of the stars. And since I have some of that embossing paste left, we're just going to scrape it back off and put it back into the jar. And that's the beauty of using embossing paste. You actually can start off with a lot and you end up putting, a good amount right back into your jar. So it's not wasting it. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove that stencil. And look at there, how pretty. Ah, that is just so gorgeous. Once it dries, you're going to really be able to see some of the color definition in the embossing paste. All right, so what I did was I went ahead and I laid out where I wanted my sentiments to be. And I'm going to grab my Misty tool, which I love this tool, especially when you're trying to lay down multiple sentiments onto a card front. You can stamp them all at once. So I'm going to go ahead and line my stuff back up, my sentiments back. I kind of hit them with my hand. So let me just go ahead and straighten everything out. I think that looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and press it down. And then I can pick up all of my sentiments at once. All right, I need to shift this around just a little bit. When I went ahead and lifted my Misty lid, things kind of shifted a little bit, but that's okay. And that's what I really love about this tool, is you can adjust everything, slide everything, tuck it right back in the corner, and you're going to be good to go. Now I'm going to be using Versamark on this because I want to actually do a little bit of embossing. So I'm going to dab some of the Versamark on all of my sentiments. Make sure I get a good impression the first time out. I'm going to go ahead and close the lid and press down. And this is going to be such a pretty card. Such a pretty card. I really like doing things that are kind of outside of my comfort zone. And to be honest, this is really outside of my comfort zone. I've never really did a galaxy inspired card. So now everything's done. I'm just going to grab a coffee filter. This is great for catching your embossing powder. If you don't have a piece of scratch paper or something like that, you can just grab coffee filter, which I learned this, I believe, from Jennifer McGuire. So, all those little household items that you never think will work in your stamp room, well, I'll be darned, it actually works in your stamp room. So I'm going to put down some of this white embossing powder. Now, as you can tell, I have some embossing powder on some of the areas that I don't want it to be on, but there's going to be a remedy for that. First, let me make sure I get this embossing powder out of the way because I will knock it over because, that's just how I roll. And I'm going to grab my Martha Stewart tool and I'm just going to pick up some of that embossing powder that I spilled. All right, so let me bring the card back in. So as you can tell, I have some white embossing powder on my card that's not part of the sentiment. So I'm just going to take a paintbrush and take off some of that excess. I'm not going to worry too much about getting it perfectly off because remember, this is a starry card. So it's okay if I have some white specks. And I'm going to go ahead and start heat embossing it. And I like to start from the back of my card and then come around to the front because it seems to melt the embossing powder a little bit quicker when you go from the front to the back or vice versa. All right, so I think that looks good and I don't want to melt my little stars there. So I think we're going to be good. See, came out pretty good. I really love it. All right, but we're not done. We got to add one more layer to this. I'm going to grab some of the Heidi Swap. This is like paint. I forgot the technical name for it, but it's like little paint that has some iridescent color in it. So instead of spraying it, I'm actually just going to pull some of the paint out. And I'm just going to actually dab it on. I could have sprayed to give it, a more starry effect. But I just thought maybe just flicking some of the paint on there will actually, be a little bit more random. So I can have, some larger stars, some smaller stars. And I actually like this technique instead of spraying. A lot of people use this technique, and I think it actually looks pretty cool. And sometimes when I try to spray, I get kind of heavy-handed, and it comes out like one big glob, and I don't get the look I'm really going for. So doing it this way, just flicking the color on, actually gives me really just a little bit more control. See there? Okay, this is such a cool card. I think I'm in love. I really do like how this came out. Really easy to do too. Not too many steps, right? So I'm just going to put this on a white card base because I like the white trim around that really dark, dark blue. And if you guys have never tried this, go ahead and give it a try. I mean, it's only card making, right? We're not going to stress over it. We're not shooting actually for perfection because, when we make handmade cards, there are going to be some boo-boos and there's going to be some phenomenal cards that are made. But remember, it's all our creative juices that we're doing here. We're not striving for perfection. And in this card, I actually like how it came out. My first try, like I said, doing a starry kind of galaxy sky. And you know what? I might try this again. I really might. I really like how this one came out. And again, I came out of my comfort zone, and I actually was successful, if I say so myself. All right, so I just used some double-sided tape to put this down onto my white card base. And I probably could have used like a sheet of foam, but I totally forgot that I had it actually sitting on the side of my desk. I guess I was just too absorbed in the whole card making process. So I'm just going to use some foam tape instead. And I'm going to make sure I put that on the right way because, Lord, I'll be upset if I put that down and it was backwards. All right, I'm going to go ahead and center that on there. And we are done. Look at there, a nice starry sky. Yay, I like how this one came out. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today, and I'm going to show you the finished card. Came out pretty cool, right? And I know exactly who I'm giving this to. I'm giving it to my daughter because she's moving, and I want her to make sure she counts herself amongst all the beautiful stars that she'll see now in the Arizona sky. Here's to you, Jasmine. Mommy loves you with all her heart. All right, everybody, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to look at all my my links, and I will see you guys back here soon. Until then, I want everybody to go forth and be crafty. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me today. If you liked the video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe because you don't want to miss a thing. I love having you guys around, and I will see you guys back here soon. Take care. Thank you.